Good morning, everyone. A very warm welcome to all of you to the FRO Expo Summit, as well as the India Licensing Show. It's a good morning for all of us, and I would, I'm very happy that all of you have joined us in this particular session. So in this session, we have with us Mr. Praharsh Chandra, who's the CEO of Shadowfax, and we have with us Mr. Vineet Manocha, who's the Vice President, Culinary Operations of Light Bite Foods. Thank you for joining us, Praharsh and Vineet. I'm very excited to have, a discussion with both of you. Now, the discussion will be, on the certain factors of franchising. But prior to that, I would just like to tell everybody that, undeniably, the pandemic, has somehow fast forwarded every sector, to think digital much faster than it would ordinarily have happened, and today, businesses are evolving to maximize their functioning in the virtual world. And today we are the ones who are, the live examples of it, because we used to do about, 100 plus shows every year in different cities. And today we are meeting everybody virtually. So, I think there is a little glitch here. The video is not coming up, which I guess will now. So we'll carry on, with our discussion. And, today, carrying on with my discussion onto this, whether it is sales, marketing, finance, HR, or, any part of operations are also being transformed to become more hybrid, in terms of models. Omni-channel will now become a real phenomenon. So today we have, it's an esteemed panel today wherein we would talk about, the innovation in franchising industry. And our discussion will also cover the new normal of the businesses and how franchising will grow and thrive in these times with, business models which are asset light, people light, and certainly, the return on investment as well as involvement strong. So I guess we can start with you, Prakash. That I understand, about the Shadowfax, and congratulations to you. In just about 5 years of your existence, you've been, able to actually penetrate, at a national scale, and it's a crowd-funded B2B last mile hyper delivery service platform. So in last few months, if you can take us and make us understand as to how consumer behavior and expectations have changed, which is making you particularly evolve your business model.
Sure. So I'll just give a quick idea of what Shadowfax is, so that the audience has a better sense. Given we are a B2B platform, we might not always be there in the public forum. So we're like you mentioned, right? We're a crowdsourced end-to-end logistics platform. We've got two key models of operations. One is a point-to-point hyper-local sort of a network, which is very similar to someone like an Uber and an Ola. A business can request for a delivery boy or a vehicle for that matter, and get their products moved from one point to another point in the city. So that's one side of the business. The other is a hub and spoke logistics business, right? That's an intercity, intracity model wherein instead of a product directly moving from its origin to the destination, it usually is routed through a set of facilities, which are our last mile delivery centers, middle mile sort centers, and then they move intercity, intracity, depending on wherever they have to go. So this is very similar to someone like a Blue Dart for that matter, right? So those two are our key models. And going to a question, about how the last 5-6 months have been, and of course, I think there was a huge amount of disruption when the lockdowns, etc., actually came in. Most of the intercity movements, etc., were on hold. We were luckily for us, since we work across several categories, right? So unlike a lot of other logistics businesses, in our case, even before the pandemic, we were working very strongly across food, grocery, e-commerce, fashion, etc.
Sure.
While of course e-commerce shipments saw a dip, we saw a huge surge in grocery and food orders. So our business, if from 100%, never really fell below 40%. We tried to maximize on whatever models that were coming in, and a large part of this was interestingly to do with point-to-point delivery of groceries and food, during the last 4-5 months. And as restrictions have started getting lifted, and people are still not comfortable moving out, venturing out to procure commerce products,
Sure.
we're also seeing a huge influx of D2C models come in, right? Wherein your larger retailers, e-commerce companies, etc., they're wanting to become closer and closer to the customer, which is invoking newer models wherein you kind of you modify your last mile retail store into dark store outlets, which can cater to orders being requested by nearby communities in a much shorter duration, right? So that's something which is coming up very strongly, and that's a pattern change that we've seen, right? And I guess it's also driven by the fact that your physical brick and mortar stores are seeing lower and lower feet actually hitting their shelf, right? So it's something which we expect to continue. As it stands, I guess, fortunately, we're in an industry which is seeing a huge surge. For us, the business is doing much higher than what it was doing before the whole pandemic struck us, right? And a lot of these new models have taken charge, have been added. A lot of your traditional businesses, your larger FMCG companies, larger fashion companies, etc., they're all trying to identify newer and newer ways to reach customer. And that has kind of helped us also gain a lot of traction in the original model that we had, right, which is a point-to-point delivery network. So that's where we are. A lot of things to look up to, and I think in the discussion ahead we can cover a few of those aspects as well.
Sure. And Praharsh, I would request if you could please on your video as well. We're actually live. Yes, now. So probably you can say hello to everybody with that. But that was really interesting. In past 5 years, particularly India, because it's a very diverse country, and we're too many of us. In a little geographical area, so it's something which is very difficult to manage. So what you've done. So I'll come back to you, with multiple questions on it, and I would go to Vineet. So Vineet is the Vice President, for culinary operations in Light Bite Foods, and Vineet, food service industry has changed, dramatically particularly in past few months, and cloud kitchens and deliveries have become so-called mainstream business model in this space. So how do you see franchising and food delivery models which are becoming so important? It's like, I would like to say that it's like a new QSR of the food business that used to happen, like 15-20 years back.
So Absolutely. I mean, the pandemic has hit food industry the most, I would say. I mean, I
Yes.
am from the food industry, so I would we know the pain. And although there was a big disruption initially, uh, our most of our light bite foods outlets, we are into brick and mortar restaurants. We had 200 locations from where we were operating out of, and suddenly all of them had to be closed because of the government lockdown and the pandemic. So now what has happened is the we had to multi-skilling, multitasking, multi-utilization of resources has come in. We started opening stores while we never closed our kitchen during the pandemic. During the worst of the lockdown, also we never closed our kitchen. We utilized our central kitchen here in Gurgaon and in Mumbai to do some social service. So we served
Okay.
all 1 lakh meals during those days. But yes, slowly when the lockdown was lifted and we were allowed to open the restaurants, we have now started focusing on deliveries and multi-utilization of our stores, the kitchens. We have realized that that is the only aspect that we can survive with. And we have seen a growing trend now. So deliveries have been accepted very well. A multi-utilization of stores, multi-utilization of kitchens has been accepted very well. Our teams are getting trained, and that is what is taking most of our time these days. We are bringing them to realize that that is the need of the hour, and that is what we have to do. And that has been the trend is very positive. Deliveries are growing, the revenues are growing, but it will, I guess, take some more time before we come to normal. So the new normal is on, and we are ready, getting ready for that.
Right, right. I too thought so that, because, I mean, we have to accept it that we are not really going out as much, as we used to. And coming back to the normal, we don't know really how much time, how many days or months will really, allow us or make our mindset to really go back to normal. And that
Exactly.
is what is giving a lot of thrive to delivery business. And I think that is why it's coming out to be a profitable business for even investors to look at. And that's what the future looks like also. I mean, had this pandemic not been there, then also people would prefer, the cloud kitchens or the dark kitchens to kind of order things. And, thanks to Praharsh and his innovation that, we are able to deliver things very fast. And people are, honestly, a consumer in me is delighted and flattered. I've been pampered by Praharsh companies like yourself, because I order today and I want to get things tomorrow. I guess that's what you do to your consumers.
No, that's there. It's not even tomorrow for us, right? For us,
Oh,
majority of the products have to be brought to the customer's doorstep in a 2 hour or a 1 hour window right now. So we're in fact working with Flipkart also. So Flipkart, I guess traditionally is a next day delivery or in the best case a same day delivery company right now. They're actually piloting a whole new model wherein most of your traditional e-commerce products would be delivered at the doorstep, in hour or 2 hours at maximum. So we're kind of continuously raising the bar on how many more options of an overall omni-channel retail can you enable as a company in the network, right? So within our platform, we've got what is a 30-minute, 45-minute delivery. You anyways have to deliver food in that amount of time,
right.
otherwise it goes out. And then there is a 2 hour delivery model. We've got a same delivery model, and then there is for us, the next delivery model is the slowest of all models we have in the network. So that's how we're kind of structured, right? And of course, I think we're seeing more and more models, more and more companies who are wanting to enable an omni-channel experience, specifically because a large part of retail network has kind of not shut down completely, but they've modified in their overall approaches. So they want to enable their last mile retail outlets to do more than just have customers coming in do purchases. They want to enable them for a delivery to happen over there. A customer can come, place an order, get the product delivered, or they need not come. They can just get the order delivered, etc., etc. So multitudes of models coming in, and I think at least for the future, I think there are a lot of exciting things we all can expect so far as all of these things are concerned.
Sure. So, from a investor mindset, as you have, you have a lot of partners with you, and you have, over 1,000, right, 1,000 partners you have on board. How does it, really work in terms of the return on investment fit versus the time? As I understand that your delivery pattern is strict, when it comes to the service standards. So how does that work out with them, and how return on investment, particularly, if you can hint that on a bit more as to how does that work for your partners?
Okay, so like I mentioned earlier, right, we are a crowdsourced company. So technically speaking, all of our operations are done either by small independent partners, and these are they can be a delivery boy, they can be a vehicle fleet owner, an owner of around 5 to 6 vehicles who are registered on our platform and are doing shipments and orders. They can be a person who's running a last mile facility, which essentially takes care of majority of our hub and spoke logistics in one particular city. Or they can be someone who's running a fleet of vehicles with us. So so far as the dynamics are concerned, they're kind of different for every different type of opportunity we provide within the platform. But the most common thing that we run is the last mile facility outsourcing. So in most of the tier 3, tier 4 cities, and these franchisees encompass the largest of our overall segment, there are a few franchisees who actually take up 10, 15, 20 odd cities and run the whole show for us in those cities. There are a few who just are currently running one particular city or one particular part of our overall division. And what ends up happening is that we pay all of the franchisees more often than not have to do a minimal investment to get a bit of space, to have at least a computer, have some scanners, etc. That's all you basically need. The investment usually is something which is south of 20,000, 30,000, depending on the scale. If it grows big, then you can of course afford it, and 50,000, etc. And more often than not, the business that we should be ending up providing in a month or 2 months time from launch would be anywhere around upwards a lakh or 2 lakh worth of business for one particular city. So if you start then opening up more cities, then you start getting more opportunities. And as you can imagine, since the capex is really, really small compared to the overall fraction of even a month's volume, usually most of the franchisees break even within 2 to 3 months of launching with us. So that's one of the models which we're running in. And of course, this is something which we started in tier 3, tier 4 cities, and we've got a lot of partners coming over there. I think now moving forward, since we're getting into a lot of, as I said, customers want products to be there closer and nearer to where they are. So even in larger cities, we're seeing a lot of movement that's happening on creation of micro warehouses from where you can fulfill a lot of customer demand. So that's another opportunity area where we'll be happy to see if people can come in and help us open these facilities, which they can run on our behalf and on our tech. While we support in all the demand generation and other aspects, right? So that's how the broad financials per se look like. And this is probably the only area wherein some bit of capex investment is required. We've got small and medium businesses working with us for sourcing and onboarding partners on our platform as well. That doesn't need any investment. You just set up onboarding centers in the city, and for every person you onboard on our behalf, we pay a certain fraction against it, so that in effect doesn't really need any break even also to happen. So a lot of models in there within the company which people are working on, and a lot of new models coming up as well. But yeah, for the ones which are already running, I hope that gives a slight taste of the numbers that we usually look at.
Yeah. So having said that, you've got on the top level for about 50,000, 60,000 partners. So how do you make sure that your organization is truly customer centric all the time?
Yeah, that's true. So see, for me at least, and it's okay from an organization perspective, there is an aspect, and from me personally, the question that you need to ask yourself is, usually in any business, and especially in B2B businesses, what happens is 80% of the business comes from 20% of the larger clients. The remaining 20% comes from 80% of the clients. And what you need to ask yourself is, are those remaining 80% happy to be on your platform or not? Because more often than not in B2Bs, what happens is you're mostly focusing on the bigger ones because they give you the big bucks, they give you the big money, they give you expansion, etc., etc. And that is not a mistake, but that is a direction which you inevitably end up taking, right? You keep on focusing on the bigger players. But if you truly want to develop stuff which works best, which is a product that everyone can like, then you have to develop something which people who are your larger customer base are liking to see. If that is sorted out, you, more often than not, the bigger players are also happy. So I think that's a principle we've tried to follow in the organization. And the other aspect is, any decision, whenever that comes in, the way you need to look at it is, there are multiple angles in which you define a business, right? You might want to make a business to be extremely profitable. You might want to make a business to be extremely customer centric. There are a variety of things that you usually pin things down to. But in decisions wherein, say, profitability is involved, sometimes you also have to put it through the test of whether the customers would like to see this change or not.
Right.
Because even though it leads to short-term profits, sometimes what happens is it deteriorates your growth, so you are not able to grow to the extent you ideally would have been able to. So for short-term profits, sometimes you end up sacrificing your longer-term growth plus profits again, right? So if in any decision making, you can just add this layer of thinking about the customer at least once, then you're truly at least covering some, or rather more aspects of the overall problem statement. It's not an easy thing to do, especially when you're crunched for money, crunched for time, crunched for multiple other things. But it's something you have to at least solve for as you go along.
True. And I think, in particularly companies like yourself, I think that's at the forefront. I mean, come what may, and you're such an open company and you serve so many customers that, it's like, on the drop of a hat, they can come up with a negative comment. So you need to be like 100% sure every time with every partner. It's like 24/7. So
that's true. In fact, it's one of the most difficult things to do. Irrespective of whatever we do, most of the feedbacks we get would be usually to do with some sort of an experience which went wrong. Because you can get it 99.5% of the times right, but that one time you were not able to do something right, that leads to an escalation. But we look at it as a positive, right? If you can actually investigate why something went south, why something did not turn out as expected, and if you truly make it an organization's prerogative to fix it, that's when true innovation starts coming in, right? You can perhaps never be 100% sorted. You can never deliver everything 100% of the times on time. But whatever is the number you're not able to do it, if you can continuously have a mechanism which allows you to learn, I think that's what you strive for. But yes, it's a nightmare to get so many escalations every odd times, right? So
right. So how does this work for you, Vineet? I mean, understandably, as Praharsh says, that it's difficult, but in your case, you have to maintain the quality and the taste also every time consistently. So how does that work for you?
So when it comes to the customer requirements and when it comes to the feedback, it works exactly what Praharsh mentioned. I mean, you can be providing the best of the food always, 99.9% of the times. But I mean, the 1% or the 0.1% which gets escalated is what gives us an opportunity to improve. So we always keep on listening to the customer. We always keep our ears on the ground, and we keep on asking for feedback. We sometimes, I mean, even if so, generally what happens is when food is very subjective. Everybody has their own tastes. Everybody has their own styles, what they expect out of food.
True.
But restaurateurs, as food service operators, we have to work with a concept of generalization. But keeping that in mind, we keep on, even if somebody has not given us feedback, we ensure that our team contacts most of the guests and ask for feedback, because that gives us an opportunity to make our services more acceptable. So that is what we are doing, and you have to continuously look for what the customer is looking for, demanding what the demand is. Like, I'll give you an example of today. Uh, we are getting into Onam festival, and
Yes.
we run a brand which is Zambar, which serves coastal food. And Onam Sadhya is something which is very popular in Zambar. Most of the South Indian people who love South Indian food come to our restaurant. Till last time, they used to come to our restaurant, eat on the banana leaf, like how they would do traditionally.
Yeah.
But this year, since the restaurant is not open yet, and we were getting a lot of demand, we are delivering the same spread to each and every guest who has ordered for this, and the numbers have not gone down; they have actually increased. So till last year, we were limited in the number of seats in our restaurant. This year, we have exceeded the numbers that we did last year. So this all this has positives as well as negatives. So it is better to look at the positive side and keep on moving forward, and that is what we are doing. So we are now the sadhya delivery includes a banana leaf also, so the guests can have the same experience at their home. So
Yeah.
yeah,
True.
so
Yeah, I think, those kind of innovations is something which is needed. We also, I mean, as consumers also, you need that little zinger also in your life while you're doing that. So how do you encourage your franchisees and your partners to be as centric, and how do you help them? I understand as a franchisor you would do a lot of research and development for them. Whether it is introducing a new food item or a new cuisine altogether. Having said that, in your dark kitchen concept that would work very well, but
right.
how does it work in terms of customizing it and making it encouraging for your partner to keep introducing, because I'm sure it would vary from area to area or location to location.
Correct. So it is, yes. This is food is very market or the catchment centric.
Right.
The catchment that you are in, you have to keep in mind what is required there. And that is why I said that we keep our ears on the ground, and we keep on listening to the customer demand, and customize our offerings accordingly. So we work very closely with, although we do not have too many franchisees, but we work with our team very closely. So how we work is, there is a central team which works on research and development. We keep on doing new innovations, introducing new innovations, keep on gaining the market intelligence as to what is required, what is the new trend going on in the market, what is the new demand that is coming up, and we keep on developing new products which are in tandem with the demand that is there in the market. And that is, now we are taking technology, taking help of technology, and training all the locations. Since earlier, pre-COVID times, we used to travel physically. Now we have learned and adapted to do trainings on Zoom calls, and
Yeah.
so it is. It is survival of the fittest, and
True.
that is
And
what.
I would like to add that to it, that Praharsh, you will not be able to even relate to what Vineet and I go through. When we do Zoom calls all day, you were born with technology, and your concept also, you practically Shadowfax is also born with technology, but I guess with Vineet, where you come from, technology is a part to enable your business, but it's come much later in the organization. But with Praharsh, it's like born with that. So Shadowfax and technology go hand in hand. There's nothing that can go without each other. So how do you, so, that question is for both of you. How do you manage your partners, into this? Because Vineet, you would have, partners who are probably not technology savvy as they should be today. Or Prakash, do you, get probably people who are not technology savvy on board, or that's a criteria for you to say that this is the only what we'll get on board?
No. So there's no criteria per se. You might not be technology savvy, but if you have, say, a mobile phone, if you have a laptop, that's a good start. I think that's where we start with. Post that, we will take care of you. That's how we
Yeah.
usually look at it. Because at the end of the day, see, we started off with technology, but we must understand that when we launched, the whole concept of mobile-based deliveries, having a location being on, or conducting trainings on your mobile app did not really exist. So it's been a journey for us as well. And so far as India is concerned, I don't see this as a country where people coming on the platform will be pre-ready with everything that's needed to be working on the platform. It's a place wherein you have to have a lot of handholding, you have to have a lot of engagement, and that's good as well. And that's something I think we worked quite a lot on. In fact, to the point on training, it was one of those things which we had started giving it through our mobile platform and also the portals which we provide to our franchisees. So one of the things that happens is that there is a Gurukul training regime internally. That's the program that we call it. And there are a set of mandatory trainings every partner has to go through on the platform. And post going through that, there is a score which comes out in case there is any area which is still lacking. We try to give a physical or a call based intervention in the scheme of things. And as things progress, we also monitor the performance of the particular partner. Two or three things happen. If they are doing really well in whatever we've given it to them right now, and they want to expand their business to even more aspects, right? So say there might be a partner who's working on food logistics right now, and they want to get into e-commerce logistics. Now, complexities of both are slightly different, right? So if
Yes.
you're doing well in food, what we do is we also enable you to take skill upgradation trainings, wherein we specifically have a content set which is created to help improve that. And again, that allows for a franchisee or a partner on the platform to grow along with us in their journey as well. In case we see any partner not doing that great, sometimes what happens is you get good scores initially, but your actual performance, or there are some customer metrics which are not really turning out to the way we expect it to be. In that case, there is a retraining exercise that happens, of course, and that's something which we have to take up. So we pick up whatever areas or whatever metrics are specifically coming out to be weak, and we try to handhold or improve those specific metrics working with the partner in the network. So it's an array of things which actually go into all of this upskilling, training, etc. But it's something which we feel is core to the organization as such, because you're dealing with so many people.
Yes.
At the end of the day, if you cannot help them grow personally along with their business, etc., it just doesn't work, right? And that relationship between a partner and a company and a franchisee and a franchisor is super key to make this whole engagement really work. So I think that's something which we focused on since the beginning. Luckily, it's helped out till now. A lot more to do there still.
Yes. Good to hear that. Good to hear that. So what's your take on this, Vineet?
So for us, technology is both hardware and software. I mean, since we are into production as well as sales and delivery,
True.
we have to look at the entire cycle. So we keep on when it comes to delivery of food or enabling somebody to look what is our offering. We have already introduced our app, which is called Fugo, and Food on the Go, and that is available for all our internal brands. We run 23 brands, so that gives us some volume to start with. And when it comes to, so it is not just software that we are related to technology. We are looking continuously, we are looking at technology which can help us standardize our food preparations,
True.
reduce our skill levels in the kitchens, reduce our dependency on uh, uh, too much of usage of manpower for packaging of food. So the entire cycle has to be. So we keep on. We are looking at some machines which now will help us dispense thalis continuously without a human touch.
Hmm.
So Those kind of innovations are we keep on looking at. We have it is good that there are very enterprising youngsters available in the market who startups who keep on feeding us, and we work with those partners, and the end result is that we have to enable a better customer experience and a better partner experience. So that is very important for us.
True. And, having said that, both of you and your organizations, having said that, you're absolutely right. Right from the food solutions to technology and delivery, it's needed at every step, because consumer is growing every day and the expectations of consumers are growing, every day. And to fulfill that, you have your partners in place and, sometimes yourself also. So what does it really take, and what do you think, it's for both of you, that what do you think are the best practices, to manage a good relationship between a principal company like yourself and the partners, which are franchisees, so that, the environment in the work gives the same, experience to the consumers, so that they're not worried whether they are being serviced by a franchised partner or the company directly. So what do you think it takes to do so?
Right. So I guess I'll take that question first, I guess. So see, I'll come back to
I guess Praharsh is kind of freezing out. So Vineet, we can probably, give that to you.
Yeah. So when it comes to best practices, it is. I mean, our final aim is to provide
the
consistency.
point on the whole relation. Hello. Sorry, I
Yeah.
guess I lost you guys. I'm so
Yes,
sorry.
yes. But we can hear you back.
Oh, okay, awesome. I just reconnected on some other connection. So sorry. So coming back to the question on what are the key practices for maintaining a good relationship with franchisees, right? So so this whole problem statement itself is a challenge, right? When you start a company which starts thinking about solving this is already on the right path. More often than not, what happens is you end up making a sort of a vendor and larger company sort of a relationship, and that is a wrong starting point to make any of these things truly work out, right? You have to start with working with all of your franchisees as a partner in the larger scheme of things, helping them with their mistakes, helping them with their challenges as you go along, because at the end of the day, since you're not directly reaching out to the customers when you have a franchisee on board, they represent your brand and your company in front of the rest of the world, right? So unless if they're not getting things right, you're more often than not doing something which is badly wrong, right? So it's very important to have sufficient channels of communication, feedback, innovation, so far as working with a franchisee is concerned. Of course, a large part of it is also to do with identifying the right partners which work better for your particular brand. In our case as well, when we expand into a lot of smaller cities, it's very, very important for us to find people who have a little bit of know-how, who have the drive to be working on in a particular way, who understand the complexities that sometimes turn up when you're moving products to the customers, and sort of escalations that come up, who are willing to take feedback, etc. So yep. So I guess from our point of view, those would be some of the key aspects which truly make such an engagement successful.
Great. Good to hear that, because, not every company, though that's a cliche, that we say that franchisers always have, ears, towards their franchisees. And world over, we've seen that, there are many franchisees who've given some suggestions to the principal company, which have really thrived the company further, because, particularly because they're working in their local area, and the kind of correct feedback or a genuine feedback, that is worthwhile to take, it really helps. But not every franchisor would, not that everybody would like me saying that here, but not every franchisor, really keeps an eye or focus there. But, in my opinion, I think that should be the case, because if you're doing that, trust me, both of you grow. Because, it's kind of a, that's what we say, no, that's an independent situation first. There's a dependent situation first and then interdependent. And then independent. So that interdependent state in a franchisor and a franchisee, if that stays forever, they both grow. That's something that needs to be the focal point when it comes to the organizational growth. Vineet, how does it work for you there?
So you touched you touched absolutely 100% correct point, Ashita. To provide consistency in our offerings, in anything actually, it is very important to have open channels of communication, and it is very important to learn from the local teams, because as I mentioned earlier also, our business is all about understanding the catchment you are in. And that is what we keep on doing. We always uh, our endeavor is to have 100% consistency in our offering. If we are running a brand, a particular brand, it should if you eat a butter chicken here in Delhi, or if you eat it in uh, Bangalore or Chennai, it should taste the same. And that comes through having SOPs, having the right kind of ingredients, having right kind of training. So that is, we keep on doing again and again, and over again, and that is what is helping us to get that consistency and growing faster. Scalability is in fact, we have it is just because of our SOPs and the training modules that we are able to scale up our stores very quickly. So currently, when we sign, and from the day we sign to the day we open is only between 30 to 35 days.
Mm.
That gives us a leverage of having better product and having better experience for the customer finally.
Sure. We actually have to, wrap up the session, but, I actually had a lot of, questions to ask, but probably, we'll try and wrap it up, and I'll probably, connect with you personally later to, answer my queries which are coming in my mind. But for investors, there are a couple of queries that people are asking. Is there any kind of a penetration in any zone that both of you as companies are looking? I mean, in case they're interested in an opportunity, so what are the areas they're asking that you're looking for expansion now?
Yeah, so actually, around 6 to 8 months back, it was in most of the tier 2, tier 3, tier 4 cities. But as it stands, we don't have a zone preference. We're seeing a lot of demand that is coming in across the next 6 months.
Yeah.
So from metros to rest of the country, wherever folks are present, I think there is something that we have in the offering that you can help us with. So that's where we stand, at least. No particular person. But yes, the models might change depending on whether it's a metro or it's a tier 2, tier 3. That's the only thing. But there's some opportunity or the other lying there.
Sure. And a few, Vineet?
Currently, we are looking at currently most of our investments are going into cloud kitchen, multi-brand cloud kitchens, and for that we are looking at Delhi, Mumbai, Pune, Bangalore, and Hyderabad. So this
Okay.
is the focus for the time being, and I'm sure we can, as we grow into this delivery business, we will keep on looking at new places.
Sure. I'm sure. This, I think, because, after 4-5 months, I understand, that the plans are not as, we make it in March for the rest of the year. It has changed, and it's been really dynamic. We're like changing our decisions every 15 days, every 20 days, depending upon what's happening. I guess, I hope we've kind of answered, the questions there. There were more questions, that people are asking. So probably, I'll email you few of them, and we can publish it for all the people who are asking for it. And thank you so much for your time. And as I said, I will connect with you personally on, all the questions which are coming in. And, it was lovely talking to both of you. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank
And I
you.
would suggest please visit our show as well. There are people who are looking forward for, both these opportunities. So if you get time, please do visit the show as well.
Sure.
Thank you so much, Ashita, for having us. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.